Okay. Had a good afternoon, too?
Yes.
Okay, I think the caterers have done a great job, and it's a personal friend of my wife that actually organised it, so once again, Karen's done a superb job. I think she's here now, my wife. Can I see? Oh, there she is. Okay, the panel discussion this afternoon is around the evidence of controlled demolition. We're not interested in questions about the Pentagon or Flight 93 in this stage, but tomorrow there will be questions to Frank Legge when we discuss the Pentagon in the last session. It's been a very controversial issue, so we're trying to stick to the best evidence today, and we don't want to be controversial, we want to be factual, and we want to stick to things that we can prove quite clearly. So when we get to the audience questions, I'm going to ask the speakers a few questions myself first, and then we'll get to the audience questions, which will be down here. I'll need one crew member to facilitate that. Maybe you do that, Sasha. Look after the microphone. Stay close to the microphone because I'll have you on the shot, the film shot. So if you don't want to be filmed, don't ask any questions. Anyway, the other thing that we're going to talk about today, besides the evidence of controlled demolition, is what do the speakers propose that we can do to encourage academia to address the issues, and also what do the speakers propose we can do to get the media to question 9/11 first, and then possibly, if that's possible, look into the evidence of controlled demolition. So starting on that point, I think I'll throw that out. There's two questions. So what do we propose we do to get academia interested? And what do we propose to do the media? So we'll take us two separate questions. I'll start with Richard.
We're dedicated to bringing the evidence of explosive controlled demolition to all architects and engineers in the United States and throughout the world. We have 6,000 members signed on to our petition, including 960 architects and engineers. It is extremely important that we break through to architects and engineers, and to that end, we have in every place where we've spoken, over 100 so far, met with deans and professors wherever we can get appointments in the architecture and engineering schools. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. We have our members periodically, we issue action alerts to try to get our members to, and that includes all of you, by the way, now, even if you haven't signed our petition, we're asking everybody to send the ae911truth.org link to every architect and engineer that you know, and everybody else, in fact, that you can find in and throughout academia, chemical engineers, physicists, and so forth, as well as members of the media, and let's just not forget our own members of government. Don't give up on them. Sometimes it's the 120th letter or 120,000th letter that they get that will tip the balance. So it is an ongoing effort that requires every one of us. It is a grassroots citizen movement that is the base and the core power of of 9/11 truth, and that's how we're going to bust through. It's not going to come gracefully down from some leaking place from above. More likely, it will be all of us providing massive pressure from below. It takes every one of us to act. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we'll take both questions at once. It seems to be easy to address it that way.
I would agree with Richard that the mass movement is really the essence of change. The official media, the ABC, the BBC, and all the news outlets are really part of the problem. We cannot really expect them to do anything for us. The only way that you can get action really is to have politicians fearing for their seats. If they think that they're not going to be elected in the next election, they may do something. And that takes the public. So it's really up to us to spread the word, because the media won't do it. We've got to spread the word first, and that will help.
What was his name? What's the gentleman's name?
Dr. Frank Legge.
Thank you.
Chemist,
Alright guys, this is Rudkowski here. I'm going to tell you what works in New York City. Now, I'm not a scholar, I'm not a physicist, I'm not an architect engineer, so how am I going to convey the message to another scholar about the information we have here presented here today? I mean, it's easy. You don't have to know everything. It's as simple as being in a college or a university. I go to college, and in my college we have scientific departments. We have the physicist departments, the architecture departments, and all you got to do is find where their offices are. You walk into their office, and they have a big mailbox, huge mailbox. All you got to do is take some of these flyers and pop it in there, and put in contact information. If you're not afraid, contact us here, and that's all you have to do. And as far as media too, I'm a journalist as well, and it's about staying current on the issues. Right now, we have the whole Khalik Sheikh Mohammed case in New York City, where he's being sent to New York City. That's a 9/11 article in the mainstream media. We have to find a way to relate to that and a way to respond to that to make it current. Because as a journalist, I'm looking for information, up-to-date information, where people will stay on topic and cover something that's in the news. It's in the news now. Take advantage of it. Go write some press releases and do your magic, John.
Thanks, Luke. Dr. David Leifer from Sydney University.
I'm an academic.
Closer to the mic.
I'm an academic, I'm an architect, and I'm an engineer. I think it was the example of Dr. Steve Jones here and Richard Gage there at the other end, who shamed me into realising I had a duty to get up and do something. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
My suggestion for getting the message online is to write to Prime Premier or President Ahmadinejad of Iran, suggesting that he build 25 stories of the World Trade Center, crash a jet into it and see if it falls down. If that doesn't upset enough people, I don't know what will.
Yes.
Dr. Stephen Jones.
Thank you, John. The papers that we've published, the peer-reviewed papers, as a scientist, that appeals to me. So once you understand the culture of the scientific community, you can then appreciate the power of a peer-reviewed published paper like that. And we're trying to get into, let me go back to my publications, say, in Nature. That takes years of research, and then finally you can get in a Tier 1 journal like that. So, don't expect that to happen overnight, but once you get into the top journals, then you can expect the media to pay more attention. It's quite a challenge, actually. The scientific community has this filter for papers. We've got through that now. It was quite a surprise, I know, to the debunkers that we're able to publish 3 papers, environmentalist and so on, that I quoted. We'll keep working on that from that point of view, because I understand somewhat the way the scientific community works. In this case, though, it's, they're people too, understand, and like my friend, Professor Campbell, if you're listening, he read the work, he approved it, he couldn't find anything wrong scientifically. He said it's exciting scientifically to see these results mesh together, the explosives and the evidence for explosives, and then we actually find the unexploded thermitic material. But he said, I'm a coward. So how do you, how do you get someone to step out? Well, events will happen, and I think Luke's right. We have this trial, and there'll be other events where people will be pushed to either speak out or, I don't know what choice, just, I guess, concede to these powers that be. I think that as these events come along, we need to take advantage to help us to get into the media, and then with professors and scholars point out that there are these publications in established journals. I've given out a number of our papers, of course, both to students and to professors, and some will actually respond. So I'd recommend that approach.